All right, I think we're going to get going here in just a moment. Hello, everybody. I think we are live here right now. My name is Glenn Badja, and I'm from Thrive After 50. The website there, check it out. I think you'll really enjoy it. I guess my motto is bold, vibrant, and passionate living, and that's what I really want to encourage everybody to do, particularly at this phase of your life here. I don't think there's a better time. Tonight I've got an interesting topic. It is for me, maybe the title isn't that interesting, The Gifts of Beauty, but for me it really means a lot to me. My life has been kind of in the pursuit of beauty here to a large extent. And I'll tell you my story here in just a few moments. But for me, it is just, wow, just giving me such a different perspective and look on life there. But I guess my first question I want to ask you is, what makes something beautiful? You know, what is beauty to you? You know, as a photographer, well, I have many different things. There's so many things that I find beautiful. It could be balance in a scene. It could be colors. It could be the feel of something. It could be the light. The light is a huge part. There's times a day where light is much better than others. Early morning, late evening, that's the bewitching time, as a lot of us say, the time to be out there. And even after sun sets, that's some of the best times to be outdoors there. But anyway, it could be receding lines, it could be patterns, it could be architecture, it could be people's eyes, it could be in a smile. I mean, I think beauty can just kind of strike us at any time there, particularly if we're open and receptive to it and aware of it there. And I'll touch upon that a little bit. But beauty is just something that you know, gives us deep pleasure, that excites us, that makes us feel good. You know, I was hoping to be able to do some slides here tonight for you guys, but I wasn't able to figure out this new software in time. But let me just show you a couple pictures that I have lying around that I'm going to have to be careful how I show them because of the reflection of the light here. But this is just a door, and I'm going to hold this one on an angle, but you can see the little flowers there and stuff, and the door. And this is just taken of a doorway in Santa Fe. And it's always been, I just love the colors of that. You know, those purple flowers there just really jump out. For me, this is color, this is composition. All that was something that makes that beautiful. Here's one that maybe everybody might agree on is quite beautiful, the old rainbow here. I was pretty lucky to capture this. It just kind of appeared right in front of me there, and just kind of looking for the pot of gold there. But this is, again, something of color and unusual. Things that are unusual can really make something quite beautiful. Here was an early morning scene here that I got of it's going to be a hard one to see, but his eye really lights up with this deer as he's in this goldenrod field here. But it was just a glorious day, in the way that the light glinted off of his eyelid there was just beautiful there. So, you know, for a lot of people, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And, you know, what I find beauty, you may not. You know, this is taken out at Arches National Park. For me, not only is it the color of that, but it's also the framing. You know, the way that thing is framed in the foreground there, the dark blue sky, the cloudy sky there, but yet the light was just lighting up those pillars there in the middle. It's really made that stand out. And sometimes beauty makes you happy. This is just a picture that I absolutely adore here. That it's an HDR picture, high dynamic range. So, you know, the colors obviously have been played with and stuff, but I just love the result of this thing. You know, I kind of call it the three supremes, sunpremes. Anyway, but it's just absolutely beautiful, 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 beautiful there. So I guess I just wanted to show those to you to kind of give you an idea or some of the different perspectives people might have as to what beauty is all about, you know. And you know, I thought long and hard about prior to doing this, and actually I'm going to be giving a lecture on this tomorrow night or Wednesday night. And it really caused me to think deeply as to what is the blessings, what is it that beauty has brought forth in my life over my 40, 50 years of pursuing it, basically. And it really challenged me. It challenged me to come up with it. And I think the best I came up is that beauty for me serves like a gateway to a deeper sense of consciousness, creativeness, and appreciation for life. It serves as a deeper a gateway for me to a deeper sense of consciousness. Let's see, what's the other one? Creativeness and appreciation for life. That's what beauty has done for me. And I'll talk about those a little bit, you know, just the consciousness. I mean, when I'm out in beauty, particularly some of the places I've gone, it's just me in the wilderness in a lot of ways. There's a lot of the places I've gone to, there hasn't been other people around at all. And just like raw nature in a lot of places. And some of those places have been quite dangerous, which I'll mention to you in a little bit. But just getting out even by yourself, whether it be underneath the stars or, you know, see the rising moon here, just to the feel there and the way it takes me into deeper thinking, into self-reflection, takes me inside. It makes me realize how insignificant I am at times compared to the vastness that's out there. So for me, that's part of the consciousness of it. As far as the creativeness, wow, man, I mean, you look at nature there, it blows me away. I mean, you take a look at some of these creatures you find in the ocean, you know, wow, just the adaptations that they have had to their environment is absolutely incredible. Some of them, I mean, I don't even know how nature came up with some of these critters here or so. And so if nothing else, it sparks creativeness, and everything is creative. Everything is expressing itself all the time, as we are, you know. So for me, that's a big part of things there. And it also just really gives me an appreciation for life, gratitude. Okay, I mean, that is such an important part of my life, is just being able to sit back and reflect and say, hey, wow, I just really enjoy this breeze blowing across my face or up along the back, tingling the back of my hairs on my head here, or playing, you know, in my ear, the breeze playing in my ears here or so, or just the visuals and the touch. You know, one of my favorite things to do is swim. You know, just being in a different matrix like that, that's just, for me, almost orgasmic. It's like a skin orgasm there to some extent, just being in a different medium like that, especially when you slow down and be present with what's going on here. And for a lot of us, that's a challenge here. Well, anyway, I'm going to tell you a little bit about, I think my exposure to beauty happened when I was really, really young. My dad used to receive a gift every year of a picture book right at Christmas time from some friends. And it was always a picture book of kind of the world. You know, it might be animals, it might be some of the plants, it might be waterfalls, it might be a combination of everything, just, you know, some of the really cool things that existed worldwide there. And I would just sit down as a little kid and thumb through that thing, and, you know, that along with the Guinness Book of World Records book there, I used to want to go look up what's the tallest waterfall in the world, the deepest ocean, the tallest mountain, the most dangerous snake, the most poisonous snake, the you know, fiercest this, the fierce, you know, the most beautiful, the tallest man, the shortest man, you know, just all kinds of crazy things like that. I always want to know the extremes of stuff there. And through that, I really developed just a real interest in the outdoors there and realized how cool it can be. But there's one thing I want you to look up if you think about it. There was one particular picture of the Horsetail Falls in Yosemite. And once a year in mid-February, for about 10 days, the sun, and it has to happen on a clear day, when the sun is setting and right exactly at the right angle, the way the light hits this Horsetail Falls, it just turns it from white to yellow to orange to bright red. And it only lasts a few minutes each day there. And like I said, you only got a span of 10 days where you can see this thing. But I saw that in a picture book there. And for me, it was, wow, that is so cool. That just blows me away, you know. How, what? Part of that curiosity, you know. How does that happen? How can it happen? Wow, I didn't have any idea. In fact, they call it the river of lava, you know, because it looks like that. And so if you think of it, go Google it or so. Horsetail Falls in Yosemite there, or river of lava, you know, and you'll get an idea of what that looks like. So for me, that was kind of the starting point that really got me going. The major thing that happened in my life was when I was 19 years old, and I went with a couple buddies and went on my first trip out west. I had never been west of Chicago, so we hopped in a little Chevrolet Vega with a car carrier on top, and the back seat was down. We had stuff in there, but our logic at the time was that, you know, one person could sleep and the other two could drive, because we were on our way out to Colorado. You know, that's where we wanted to go there. So anyway, as I was approaching Colorado, you know, I saw this cloud bank in the distance here. And as I kept watching it, it magically transformed into the Rocky Mountains. It just blew me away. I'll just never forget that sight there of coming from the plains onto the Rocky Mountains and just how huge they were. I don't know if you guys remember the first time you ever saw them too. Now, long story short, I was gone 3 months on this trip here with these two buddies. And we went to Colorado, and then it got too cold there. And so we shot down to Arizona. First time I ever went to the Grand Canyon, man. I'll tell you, I don't know how many of you have ever seen the Grand Canyon, but it is just mind-blowing. It's one of those things that pictures just can't do it justice there. And I remember that day there, after exploring and walking around the rim there, you know, I'm sitting on the ledge, dangling my feet over this magnificent canyon, and a big old full moon rises up right in front of me. I had no idea it was going to be a full moon, but that just made things so magical. It's just, wow, right down to the soul, or just transformed me. The whole trip transformed me. We went up to Nevada, then down to Mexico, Southern California, worked our way all the way up along the coast, caught the redwoods, saw Stevie Wonder in Long Beach, California, along with the Rolling Stones. They were the main one, but Stevie Wonder was with them. Up to, like I said, the redwoods, and then over to Lake Tahoe, and back, follow up the coast through Oregon, up into Washington, the Olympic National Park, on up into, over to Vancouver Island, on up into British Columbia, up to Alberta, to see the Canadian Rocky Mountains, Banff, Jasper, drop back down into Glacier, over to Yellowstone, the Tetons, back to, and then on the way back home there. And it was just a magnificent trip. And so many highs and lows, so many different stories, but probably the one that is most memorable, because I still carry it with me all the time, is when we ran out of money. You know, there's highs and lows to every trip you take, but we ran out of money in San Francisco and needed to get a job. We had just, we're going on charge cards at the time there, and it wasn't even my charge card. My mother happened to have one here that I was able to use for a little bit. But anyway, it wasn't until we got up into the state of Washington where we got a job at a lumber mill up there. And on the third day working at this lumber mill, we were making cedar shakes. I was working on a machine, and whop, that's what happened. 19 years old. Yeah, yeah, it was very shocking for me there. And anyway, it was a 45-minute drive to the hospital, and the guy driving me he looks over to me. He goes, "You're lucky." And I wasn't feeling very lucky at the time, of course. I go, "What are you talking about?" And I look over to him, and he's driving. He's missing 7 of his 10 fingers. He has been there all his life. He says, normally that machine you're on would take all 4 off. He says, it's very unusual just to have your pinky taken off on that. He was right, man. He was right. So anyway, that's why I say that's something I still carry with me to this day here. But it was such a wonderful trip there. Second thing that really changed my life was going on the Appalachian Trail in 1979. I hiked 200 miles of the Appalachian Trail up in Maine and New Hampshire, coming down all the way through the White Mountains before getting off. Took a month. I was with my wife, who was pregnant at the time here with our first child. Long story short, she lasted about 10 days here before she had to get back off. And I went on the last 2.5, 3 weeks by myself there. And just traveling by, I mean, there's times I'd go days without seeing a person there. And I remember one time, talk about beauty and how it comes to you in different ways. This is one of those that just I'll remember forever, where I'm walking and it's a drizzle of rain coming down, and I'm in some tall brush, and with trees all around too, but low brush. And it's just the pitter patter on those leaves. It was just so melodic and mesmerizing as I'm hiking along. It's just, the sounds and feel of everything out there just kind of took over my body. And I'll be darned, I come into an area where there's hermit thrushes singing, probably about 6 of them or so. And I don't know if you ever heard a hermit thrush, but they sound so melodic. It's almost like a flute or so. And it was just felt like I was transformed to a different world altogether. So anyway, that really, again, deep in my soul here. And this is part of the reason why I've pursued beauty all my life here. I just absolutely love it there. So anyway, where do I want to pick up here now? It transformed me. Beauty transforms people. It transformed me. It has all of my life. It has shaped my life. Everything I've done from this point out. So, and I changed it up after my kids were out of the house and on their own, and and Ralph Waldo Emerson has a quote that says, "We are immersed in beauty, but our eyes have no clear vision." And I believe that to such a great extent that we don't recognize or really see the beauty that exists all around us. It is there. It is everywhere. And it just, but we're so busy. We're so disconnected. We're just keeping ourselves so busy that very few of us really slow down and absorb and take in everything that's there. I'm not saying everybody, of course not. A lot of you have had that experience, if not here and there. It's just not as frequent as maybe as it should be, or could be, I should say, rather there. But we have distanced ourselves so much, these things here can, make us go absolutely crazy here, taking our attention and our focus and diverting life here. So anyway, I find beauty to be very distressing. It's peaceful. It goes down to the center of my core here, and I'm sure many of you have had that same experience of that too. There's so often we're in our heads here, and I know that if my head talk at times just makes me go crazy thinking out, all my life here up until recently, I've been thinking that, God, I wish I was someone else, right? I wish I had this ability. When God was handing out things, I think he shortchanged me, and I, was never as smart as I wanted to be, or, other of us may think that, someone's more beautiful or more talented or more gifted. Why couldn't we have had some of that in our lives? I think we really shortchange ourselves in what we have, thinking we're not good enough, not smart enough, not someone else thinking we're broken, incomplete. I know I certainly have done that a lot in my life. But there's one big lesson I think that we can take from the beauty of the world and in nature in itself, is that nothing in nature tries to be something that it's not. And I'll say that again. Nothing in nature tries to be something that it's not. You know? Wow, why can't we take that lesson within ourselves? We were born who we are in our own authenticity, in our own body, to express who we are, to use our voice, to become more of who we are. And so many of us, in fact, I'd even say that most of us have a challenge with that, with loving ourselves, loving who we are, accepting ourselves as we are, trying to bring out more of who we are up from within, you know, as opposed to trying to be like someone else. So I think that's just such an important lesson there for us, you know. I'm sure you guys have seen some of those pictures, you know, again, what I think is just absolutely beautiful, you know, taken from the Hubble telescope, you know. Remember that one that just has, you know, hundreds of galaxies? I mean, galaxies in the picture as far as you can see, you know. Wow, that just blows me away. Or, you know, they zero in on one galaxy there, you know, but, and just the spirals, all the stars, just, I mean, it's amazing what we don't know. It's what we can't comprehend. And we go about life, I think, thinking that we have the answers. We don't at all. And we're not even open to different ways of thinking about things. And for me, again, that's something that the beauty of this earth, of this universe, brings into me, that deepens my consciousness, you know, gives me more appreciation for how things work, the systems, the environment, how it all works together. You know, there's a infamous physicist named David Bohm, who he says that the universe is undivided wholeness in flowing movement. You know, undivided wholeness in flowing movement. He says, and the root of all of our problems comes from us insisting that we are separate from that we can control it. You know, we can't. We are part of this. A lot of people don't even want to admit that we're animals, you know, that we've come up along the way. But, you know, I ask you, are we doing things? Are we on the right track? You know, are we living within the guidelines of what we should be with, you know, evolution? Are we progressing? I don't know about you, but sometimes I don't feel like we are at all. Not at all here. And that really gives me great concern here. I know it can be really, really frustrating at times there. So, you know, and you take a look, and I'm sure you guys have all seen that picture of the Earth taken from outer space, I think from the moon, looking back, of, you know, all 360 degrees of the Earth being lit up and just looking beautiful as can be. Just, you know, the bright blues and greens and the white clouds there. And it's just, you know, when you look at Earth from that perspective, wow, there's no corruption, there's no problems, there's no hatred, there's no, just everything looks so peaceful and works together. And I think, again, that's one of the lessons that we need to take with ourselves when we move forward. Okay, you know, the Earth has its moods, just like we do, you know. I think of the Earth at times as the water being its blood, the air being its lungs, you know, the growth that happens on the Earth being its expression of its vitality. It's just everything, every atom that exists has within it an expression or a need to express itself and live and bloom, and we have that within us too. And I think it's really, really important that we get in tune with that. You know, kind of the old way of looking at things was that, you know, the Earth is here for our benefit. You know, it's here for our use. There's not enough. You know, there's not enough to go around, so we got to kind of battle everybody to get our share. More is better. You know, that faulty belief that, you know, for some reason, we got to have more, you know, and a lot of that involves raping the earth here to a large extent. And I think one of the most destructive ones is us believing that this is the way it's always been and always will be, okay? Because that just takes away from us our power. It takes our power away, our hope, the belief that we can change things. And I don't know about you, but I need to have this belief that we can do things in a different way, that there still is hope. And I know it seems so overwhelming at times with the way things are going on in the world here right now. But we've got to battle that. We've got to battle that. You know, again, kind of that thing I mentioned about, you know, nothing in nature tries to be something that it's not. I think key to everything is us being who we are, bringing up our voice, using our voice, stepping in the direction that feels absolutely right to us, regardless of what anybody else thinks, and starts giving back and helping other people and attempting to make a difference in this world here. And it might just start with one person here. I mean, if that's all you do is influence one person, so be it. So be it. That's fine. If you can do more than that, great. But the change has to begin with ourselves first. We need to bring out our own beauty. We need to love ourselves, who we are, the way we are, and be more of who we are. Use your voice, you know, express yourself more. Be present, okay? That's one of the solutions here too, I think, to moving forward, is that we can't live in the past, okay? We can't live in the future. The present is where the power is, right here. Everything happens in the present here. And the more that we can be in tuned and present here, the bigger difference that we're going to be able to make, and the more we're going to be able to express our gratitude and help other people there too, because we know we can make a difference in the present here. So stay present, I guess, is that message right here that I want to say right now. And another thing too is that we can't do this ourselves, okay? I don't, you know, it's really, really important that we allow others to enter our life and that we enter other people's lives here. The loneliness is epidemic right now in the world, and, you know, isolating in our homes, not getting out, staying safe is one of our problems, okay? Safe and comfortable. We're not willing to step out of the box here, to risk, to try to be more, to step up our game, you know? And another thing I don't want to hear from any of you is that it's too old. I'm too old. It's too late. I can't change my life. Bullshit. I'll say it again, bullshit. That's not the case. You can make a difference. Like I said, even if it's in one person's life, but we got to start with ourselves here. So be part of the solution. You know, be part of the solution, not part of the problem here. But it involves us changing, and it's not going to happen overnight. You know, it's taken us a long time to get where we're at right now. You've got to allow the time. It's a process, taking small steps to make the change and to be more. You know, that's part of what I specialize in here too, as a certified personal trainer. I'm a certified personal coach. I do a lot of this stuff here with people, and I really, really enjoy that, doing what I can here with the Thrive After 50 site, so on and so forth here. Well, anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here, and I'd like to, as usual, use a quote here that I think is really pertinent and important. This one comes from Mark Twain. The two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. I'll say that again. The two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. You know, what's your why? What's your why? You know, Find out, bring it up, express. Thank you very much for attending tonight. If you would, I'd very much appreciate if you'd share this with other people here. Feel free to message me if you want to get a free coaching session or so. You can do that. I wonder. I debated whether to show you guys this to see if anybody knows what this thing is. Some of you may. Anyway, this is from one of my travels here up in Alaska, actually. This is what's called an usik, and the Eskimos used this as a weapon in the past. But what it is really is a walrus penis bone. Honest to God. Honest to God. So anyway, what a club that thing. So this thing's got a lot of weight to it too. I'll tell you, that would smash your head open, or any animal's head. I'll guarantee you that. But anyway, from one life traveler to another, this is Glenn signing out, and God bless you all. Bye-bye.